This is my 66 Grande Parisienne, as I like to call her the Dove. I named her a few years ago. I sold her, bought her back, and now I'm restoring it while I don't have a license. So, what tools do I need to restore this car? If I'm being completely honest with you, I have no clue. I tore most of it apart a couple years ago, but I haven't done it in a while. So, kind of thinking maybe I should leave the hood on. Water doesn't get in the engine. Well, taking the engine out, so there's really no point in having the hood on. I got to cut the bottom here. Somebody decided it would be a good idea to weld the fender to the rocker. Now I can't adjust the doors. I can't take the fenders off. So that's what's gonna start happening now. Now I got these tow mirrors because I was planning to go for a trip from Manitoba to Alberta. I'm from Manitoba. To go pick up another 66 Grande Parisienne. That one was a black two-door. It was a really nice car actually, and fortunately some things have happened this year to where nothing has been able to happen. So I decided I'm going to start getting this thing done. Now, what tools do we need? Like I said, no idea. I've never actually taken these fenders off. All I know is they're patched full of shit and they're just garbage. Same with that quarter on the back. So I'll fix that eventually. But to start off, I'll take these tow mirrors off just to make sure I don't break them, because they're kind of neat. Nope, look at that fender pop back out. But no, I bought this car about 4 years ago, and I sold it, bought it back. First classic car, you kind of get attached to it, so that's why I bought it back. And honestly, it's one of the prettier cars I've owned. I've owned a 66 Stratochief at some point. Or no, not a 66, it was 62 Stratochief. But sadly that one was too far gone to do anything with, so eventually I'll get another 66 or a 62 Pontiac. I want to restore that one too. Just a 6-cylinder, 3-speed manual on the column. Completely base car is what I'm looking for. But for now, I got some rich blood in me, so we're gonna get this one done. Now, there's a lot of things that people would generally be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Don't do this, don't do that. Well, I'm limited. Everything I do is for a reason. When you don't have a wrench, the hood supports, these are the way to go. I have ratchets somewhere, but I haven't seen them in a bit. It's not true, I've seen them, they're just everywhere. And I'm not going to bother looking for them. I want to start getting this thing ready, get to get restored right away. Because I've waited way too long for this thing to be done. The only thing I don't really like about these adjustable wrenches is that they adjust on you when you're trying to take shit off. That's the right way. Yeah. Luckily for me, before I bought the car 4 years ago, the entire thing was rewired, which helps me a lot actually, because I don't really like wiring, but it'll do it. And it saves me a few hours of figuring things out, and wiring things, and color matching. And it also saves me a whole lot of money, because I'm doing this on a budget here. I'm doing it properly, don't get me wrong, but I'm doing it on a budget. I'm not talking about trim clad, I'm talking about everything's going to be right. There's going to be an original restoration, and then eventually I'll put some intake on the 283 and we'll see how much power I can squeeze out of it. Just because it's high revving, and I like the sound of the 283 a little bit more than everything else. I was told it was a 327 when I first bought it. Decoding the cast on the original motor, it wasn't. So my plan is to keep it original. All the glass is good. Pretty much everything on it is good. But I clean everything up, fix everything up, get new front end bushings, new rear end bushings, repaint everything. I already got new shocks in the front 2 years ago, and well, the car hasn't driven anywhere, so still brand new. Oh fuck. I really do not want this to go into glass at all. So, got a pipe. If I shove a fucking steel toe through it. And we are just gonna do the nice little prop. She's fine. Good. Right here. I've had this hood fall on me a time or two. Now another thing I can do as well, I got pieces of board. I don't really know what it's from. Came out of my 62 Chrysler Ace Home. Put it right here. And we got a bunch of these used shirts and bedding. Just gonna shove it all right there. That way, don't fucking break anything. Not saying it won't break anything, but it'll be better. I was thinking about doing a time lapse, but that takes time. Time is not what I have. Holy crap. If you want to see how long things actually take, this is a good video to watch. I got a couple extra things you gotta do though, just because of the previous owner's bodywork that he thought was awesome, but no. If I can get this off a little bit better. A lot of these bolts were lost when I sold the car, so I had to improvise. Luckily though, I don't know where those went. They disappeared. Oh, there it is. Got it. So anyways, I talked to a guy calling all cars. He's close by to where I live, and he's got a whole bunch of cars, 66 Pontiacs. He's got shit from the 40s up to the early 70s. So if you're needing any parts, search up Calling All Cars Manitoba. that'll come up, and he's helping me out a lot with this. Actually, he gave me my 12 bolt. He gave me all the front end bolts that are in a box right over there. I didn't lose them yet, so it's a good thing. It's another thing too is if you're doing this, get plastic bags. Keep track of everything. I did do that, but of course the guy lost all of them. So, anyways, we got a few things left. Nothing too much. I already took out the inner fenders 2 years ago, so they've just been like in the trunk. So I took them out. Holy crap. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna do a time lapse of just me undoing all these bolts, because I think it might be a little bit better for you guys. Well, all I got left to do to get the driver's side fender off is to cut the bottom piece, but everybody's asleep right now. It's starting to get late and I don't want to wake anybody up, so I think I'll continue with this tomorrow after work. There's not a whole lot of time before the sun starts going down, as you can see there. That was only about half an hour, not even, and yeah, no, it's definitely a process, but I will say, carrying that hood, you need help. Don't try and do it alone. You'll smash your window. Luckily, I didn't do that, but I've almost done it once or twice. It's been fairly close. So if you're gonna go and get your hood off, lift it off, make sure you have help. Make sure you have people around who can help you carry the heavy shit, because it takes a lot out of you, and it makes things a lot less enjoyable. And now I'm gonna go put that hood away. I'll go store it in one of the sheds, and I'll continue with this tomorrow. Well, I'm back. Be working on this thing again. Gotta cut the front fender at the bottom there. Gotta take some bolts out on the other side, take out the front harness. I'm gonna undo the rad cradle. Take the entire front end off as one solid piece so I don't lose anything. I also picked up some plastic bags just to make sure that I could sort some stuff out, because right now everything's on the cowl, and well, I got cats that like to play with shit, so we are gonna work on this here. So I'm thinking what I can do to start off with, so I can cut the bottom here, right where they put that crappy patch. I'll cut that, unbolt the front bumper here. Have to climb underneath of it to do that. And then we got one bolt here, one bolt up here. Now we get to cut this one out too. Now for the frame bolts here, where the rad cradle bolts onto the frame, I gotta take it all out. I think that's the best idea for me. Oh, look at that. I'm missing a bolt. Surprise! But what you can do is you can paint after all this is out. I push the car back a little bit, and then once it's pushed back, I got an engine crane. I'll unbolt the engine at the motor mounts here, bring it up onto the crane, continue to pull this thing back because I'm not going to be able to move in the dirt here. And once we do that, then I can take the engine transmission out, take the transmission off, clean everything up a little bit, and yeah. I'm kind of wondering if I should do some gaskets on this, but for now it's a good motor and I don't want to tear into it too much. See where if it's leaking at all. I'm still running the cartridge filter on this one. It's got a brand new filter, brand new oil 2 years ago, but it hasn't really run. It ran maybe 3 times, 4 times from me, and maybe once from the other guy. But we'll take this out, that way everything gets light. We can repaint all underneath of here, the entire frame. Take brake booster, master cylinder out, everything. And I'm gonna paint this all proper, pressure wash it all, clean it all up. Started taking out this harness earlier. Luckily this one wasn't stuck, but we've got a little bit to do, so we'll start on that. And now I got the bottom cut out, finally inspect underneath of here, because these are common rust spots as well. Now this one here, it's not terrible, it's not great either. A little bit of holes starting the rockers there, in the front structure. So this car is probably going to be lifted back off the frame. I'm going to do that properly. Cut it out, make a patch, matching this as best as I can in factory, because I don't want this thing to rust anymore. What I did, because this fender is good and thrown out anyways, I made sure to cut a little bit inwards towards the fender rather than the rocker panel, because I don't want to have to refix that. This is the first time I'm actually looking underneath here, and it's fairly clean. There's almost no rust. There's a little bit at the very bottom there, so it's not too bad of a patch to do. But as you can see over here, this is all just patched. That fender structure's gone too, so it's gonna get new fenders. Already have some lined up. And I'll be buying some. But nicked a little bit of the door here. Luckily it's small enough to where it's not gonna hurt nothing. We got that. And we will, might even take these fenders off completely first and then do everything. But I started taking this out a couple nights ago. Last night I didn't get any stuff done because it's too late to do anything. But pretty much all of this connected now. I'm just going to take the front bumper off. Then there's a few screws underneath that hold those grills in, so we take them out. A couple screws underneath there, and then there's a couple screws holding that little filler plate between this fender and that fender. So I'll do that too. And then I'll even take this fender apart here. This one's not good anymore. This one's broke. That's getting a new piece. But like I said, we're doing this properly, so right now this is carnage. I highly do not recommend doing this with a set of adjustable wrenches. It's not ideal. If I could remember what size everything was, I'd be using a socket set. A lot of my sockets are also everywhere. So this is what I'm dealing with. As an example to why I'm replacing these fenders, it's all body filler and trim clad. Not good body filler and not good trim clad either. This here, a little bit of a clamp underneath it. Can't seem to fish that out. So what I'm gonna do instead, make life a lot easier, and just slide it out the bottom of it once the fender's off. So when I put the new fender on, I'm gonna put this antenna on before to make it easy. But we got the one bolt up here. Make sure you keep track of those shims because none of these cars are the same, and chances are I'm gonna have to make new shims for it anyways. All you do is put the bolt in there, put the shims in, tighten it a little bit, close the door, see if it fucking comes out, goes in enough, and with that, then you either add shims or take them out. And it takes a little bit, but I want this thing to be proper. So after those few bolts are undone, under here, you're gonna have a couple J clips holding that flat piece on. I've taken this all out before. You know, 1, 2, and that one, that's not for this, I don't think. That little one there, pretty sure it's for inside the headlight bezels. We're gonna take those off and hope those J-clips actually let them come off. I think I'm gonna be forced to find a ratchet for that one. Now that all the bolts are out, yes, I have bags, just don't want to label them yet. What I can do, I should be able to lift and pull it out. Then you got this piece in the way here. Now I found that a 13 mil wrench does fit these. It's not the right size, but it does fit. Take this little corner piece out here. These ratchet wrenches are awesome to have. 70 bucks for a set. It's not terrible. Take this whole piece out. Usually there's 3 bolts here, and here. But I took those out a few years ago, so. We got the lights. Unplug. If I could pull them apart, that'd be a bit better. There you go. Right through that little hole here. And, well, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. You push the one through first. Then you push the other one in. Makes things quite a lot easier. So now you got your harness out. You got these plugs for that light. Those little turn signal / marker lights. So with the Grande Parisienne, the turn signals are in the grill. Oh, look at that. It did it by itself. All the other Pontiacs for 66 all had their turn signals in the bumper. That's why if you look at the top, see that bracket? That's where all those turn signals go. And I have a couple of them in the back that I'm not going to use. So if anybody wants some, let me know because I got extras. Okay, now should be able to just lift, pull it out. guess I didn't put the old screws back in the bottom of this thing. See, there's some screw holes at the bottom. I guess I never put them back in. Like that. It's out of the way. Should be able to lift it a little bit, tilt it. But there's a little plate underneath it here that's also getting caught. So, wrench. I didn't quite cut that out enough. We'll just go back at it. Not quite, almost there. Now we're good. Should be. There we go. Got this antenna through. Back up. Now. There we go. Fender 1 is off. And it's pretty bad. Fender 1 is off. Take this one off. Your inner fender actually bolts up to this piece too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because at the front of it, there's a flat piece and then a lip. You put bolts through the inner fender, through this, and then through the actual fender. So it's a lot of squishing, I guess. Got that out of the way. We can take this one out of the way. Got a ground to undo real quick. I'll put you guys in a better spot. Fender's out. If you look at it over here, you really see the rot in the upper lip. Mostly right here. The patch and the even bigger patches. That's supposed to be a solid support all the way through, but as you can see, it's not. Pretty sure this fender's been replaced just because it's black on the inside. The other fender's still white on the inside. If you look over here, you'll see it's white. Now we got all this off. I'll take this nice little panel off there. In order to do that, we got our antenna, everything there, put it all in the bed later. I'll just let it hang for a little bit. Pop the phone up better, but can't really. There we go. Grab that ground. This one I think is an original ground, just because it doesn't seem to have ever been removed. That one I might need a wrench for, or let's see if this one will be a little bit better. Okay. There we go. That's a bit better. Just needed a straighter edge. Catch on there. tight. There, a little bit of a washer thing here. Maybe take it off, it'd be better, but don't want to come off. So we'll leave it there. Now a couple bolts up in the center. Bolt onto where the hood latch actually latches. There were original stickers under here, but the guy thought it would be cool to put black trim cloud on there. So one, it's like garbage. And two, there's no stickers anymore. I like the stock stickers. I like everything to look stock, and then a little bit of a pop up to the motor. That's what I like. They're the same size, 13. Yep. 13mm. Works a lot nicer. One. Oh crap. Coming. You can kind of see. I'm not the greatest photographer. I don't have cameras. I think it's an iPhone X. I got it for free. So that one I bolted back. So I guess that latch bolts onto this and nothing else, so shouldn't have taken it off. But it's been a while since I torn this thing apart. Doing this under a budget because I may work a lot. Recently, I don't have a whole lot, so come on, get out of there. 1, 2. We got, what else? Is it just that one that's holding it on now? I'm not sure. comes off. I'm missing something. No. Pins out. There's these pins here, but that might be it. Adjustment nuts. Wonder if I gotta take these things out. Put them in after everything. These should separate, but they're not. Don't know if it's rust. Don't know if they welded it on. Everything looks stock. Really don't know what's happening here. Use something else to prop up the phone. Oh shit, you couldn't even see that. Took all these bolts out. There's nothing else. Oh shit. Took all those bolts out. There's nothing else holding it on. Now I'm a little confused. By a little, I mean very. But here's your hood latch. Clean that up, repaint it, put some grease on there. It'll be good. Looking at the top, there's nothing left holding this thing on. I'm starting to wonder, maybe somebody had welded. Looking underneath of it, I don't see any more bolts. But when I figure it out, I'll come back. Well, I've all just realized that it's all one solid piece. So I have a couple of small bolts underneath. You know, there's one, and there's two over there. That's holding this grill in. I'll take that out, and this whole piece underneath can come off because it's no longer connected to anything. So we'll take that off. We'll take the radiator off, and then I'll take the front bumper out. Can't be too hard being the guy missed a few bolts. Once that's off, push the car back, take the engine out. Also got this fender to take off too. Everything's unbolted on this one. I might just do that now. That way it's out of the way. Like I said, filming this thing on my phone, not the greatest. But could be worse. Some extra bolts. See, that's why I say label your bags, because I found these 3 bolts on my fender that I just took off yesterday, or the day before. And they're already lost. I don't know what the fuck to go to at all. There's also shims at the top of the fender, which I didn't realize until just now. So I have to mark those down. And this last piece here. Bolt it on. Any more? Just get caught in something. What? I have no idea. So, I'm gonna pull if I can. doesn't seem to happen. Pull that to the side. Under there, I think. If I scratch the door, I don't care. There we go. Now, come out. Back. Push. I feel like there's something I'm missing, but I'm not. I'm not missing anything. Doesn't seem like it anymore. Ah, that's what it is. Stuck on the front bumper. Sweet. Oh. It's done. It's breaking. Turn that bumper a little bit. It's not tight. Screwdriver. Put in there now. There we go. There we go. Take this whole thing out. Lay it down nicely, put some gravel. Now you see the big problem. Yeah, it's pretty bad. This is the worst of the two. And you really look under here. It's starting to on the front edge. Might need a bit of a patch. Actually, I should be able to sandblast that and repaint it. The bottom piece though I'll have to fix. But this is what we're working with now. I never put that hood away. I should have, but I didn't. Now we have to look under here and see another patch. Haha. That'll have to fix. Whenever they did patchwork on this thing, they missed a whole lot. And they made quite a lot of holes. See where the 3 layers of fender are welded to this rocker panel. Like, it's pretty bad. Up here is still solid. Clean it up, put some new edge filler on that, and yeah, that's it's not great. But I'll patch that, and then underneath the rocker I filled up with Bondo. There's a hole there when I did the frame swap, and I just want to make sure there's no water getting in there until I can do it properly, which that's what I'm doing today. This is one solid piece. I'm gonna take the radiator out. Once the radiator's out, I'm not even gonna unbolt it where the radiator bolts on. I'm just gonna unbolt it from the main for the shroud. Intake shroud goes. Once that's there, take these off, pull this thing off, undo the couple bolts for the fender, or for, not for the fender, for the front bumper. I got a straight front and rear bumper for this. Not with me, but I do know of where I can find one for pretty cheap. So we'll do that. And I'll put you guys on a quick time lapse for that one, because I'm sure you don't want to sit there watching me do the same thing again. Bumper bolts, all 3/4. That one you want a ratchet for. Alright, so what you see me do there was I finally took out the rad support. Now, there is a bit of an issue with this here. When I put in the new body mounts, I misread the instructions, and I actually kind of ground this out a little bit. I can't remember if that one was right, or if I messed it up, but I'm pretty sure the one piece sits in there. If I look over at my rad support, pretty sure this little piece here sits inside. Yep, It does. I'm just not going to put it in very tight when we put everything together the first time. Chances are I'll have to loosen a couple things and move some things, put some shims in there. I also took off my fan cover, my heater fan cover, because this here, I don't know if this is supposed to do that, but I'm not going to take any chances. And I'm going to take this whole thing out and make sure that is going to seal. I'll flush it out, because I doubt it's ever been flushed out. It works good. Last time I used it a couple of years ago, but I figure if I'm going to be restoring it, I want everything to work, because I'm going to be driving this thing in the winter too. I took that off, scraped off as much of the stuff as I could, went down to primer. This whole thing is going to get sandblasted anyways. Cut that piece out at the bottom, patch that bad body work that I showed earlier. Everything else seems to be solid though. But I'll still take a sand gun to it, just clean it all up. But it's starting to get pretty late out, so I think I'm going to make a different video taking this engine out, because this one's already going to be pretty long, and I doubt most people would have watched through the whole thing. But these videos aren't really for you guys, it's more so for me, so I can keep track of things and where certain things go and whatnot if I'm lost. But I also took this fan off too. Starting to get some pretty surface rust, so take a sand gun to that one. This one's still pretty good. I'll still clean up the outsides. I'll hit it with the sand gun, I'll repaint it. And then I'll put those in storage, I'll put it back together, I'll put it in storage. This here, I don't know if I showed this or not. When I took that radiator tunnel out, I guess somebody, the guy I sold it to before, decided to jack it up from here, which it wasn't like that when I did the frame swap a couple years ago. So I think the next video is going to be me taking the engine transmission out and a brake booster out, cleaning out the master cylinder. That it's got some pretty milky stuff in there, just from sitting and moisture getting in there. So luckily it's not rusted out, but I'm gonna take it off, clean it up anyways. I'll bench test it, make sure it's pumping fluid out, and yeah, once that's all good, all I'll do is I'll take the transmission off. When the transmission's off, then I'll get to that and clean it out. That one I might have to take the dash out to do, which I'm hoping not, but there's not a whole lot of space under here. You can't really see that. But like I said, it's getting dark out, and everything's out. Pretty much the entire front end's out. I just got to take the engine out, and when the engine's out, after the engine's out, I'm going to take the body mounts back off, unbolt the whole car. I'm going to lift the whole thing up, pop the trunk open, lift it up, and then yeah, it's getting there. Hoping it doesn't rain tonight, but in case it does, I'll put a can up on the carburetor so nothing gets in. And yeah, lift the body up, roll the frame out from underneath of it, tear the entire front suspension apart, and it's going to get brand new polyurethane bushings here and in the back as well. That might take a little bit, but till then I can at least do some of the patchwork and fix some of the body work on the body, but that won't be for a bit.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll get back to you guys in a couple days.